Assassin's Creed is a long-running series starting all the way back in 2007. This year marked the 15th anniversary. In Assassin's Creed, we play through many human histories like the Crusades, the Italian Renaissance, American and French revolutions, and even the Viking invasion of England. But what ties these all together? The modern day plotline. A reason to explore these histories and discover the secrets of our ancestors. A way to save lives in the present day and preserve freedom and stop Abstergo from controlling the world. Ubisoft has not always done a great job of maintaining a great modern day story by pushing it to the side and barely acknowledging its existence. For many games in a row, it felt like a tacked on piece that they had to include. These are my least favourite stories in the franchise for this exact reason. Nothing feels as impactful when there are no modern day consequences. The best moments in this series are when the modern day is woven perfectly into the historic setting and we get incredible scenes like that of Ezio talking directly to Desmond in Revelations, Desmond talking to Minerva and Juno and ultimately deciding to sacrifice himself to save the world, and Basim coming into the modern day from the late 800s with the help of the Staff of Hermes. This is what binds these games together, the stories of ancient assassins connecting into the real world of the modern day protagonists. A motivation to continue on the path of the Creed and save the world. Finding Altair's library wouldn't feel nearly as amazing if Ezio did not speak through time to Desmond. This to me is the best moment in the series by far and outweighs any of the strictly historical storylines. Not many games can make me feel the way I did playing through this the first time, and it would not be possible without the excellently written modern day storyline of this game. I would love to hear why you do or do not like the modern day within Assassin's Creed, so please let me know down in the comments section, but let's keep it civil guys, we're all entitled to our opinions. So let's get into this video on why I believe the modern day storyline is so important to Assassin's Creed. Firstly, I wanted to go over the connecting stories of Assassin's Creed. Obviously, for a newcomer to the series, it would be pretty overwhelming at this point to understand how each of the three main plots of this crazy series all fit together. Especially because some of the games have done a very poor job at explaining them, and sometimes they don't even bother to care about modern day at all. That aside, the modern day connects us to the past in many ways. Usually the modern day assassins are combing through history to find information left behind in memories. A lot of the time it is locations of the Ezio technology such as Apples of Eden or the Staff of Hermes. We follow through these ancestor stories to see where and how they interact with the ancient Ezio civilization and the present day. In Odyssey we even have a character from the ancient story directly interact with the modern day protagonist. Cassandra was kept alive by the staff all those years. Some people in the AC community hate this part, but I honestly didn't mind it at all. The way these three plot lines intertwine are what makes this series special. Any historical franchise can tell a story strictly from a historical standpoint, but no other series blends time periods quite like Assassin's Creed. Not to mention, Basim is currently, as of this recording, alive and well in the 21st century. This crossover of times gives us the foundation needed to justify the ancient story's existence. Sure, we could just play as an assassin in an ancient period. Although it's apparently very hard to make an assassin protagonist these days. Anyways, I'm getting distracted. You could play as an assassin in an ancient period. You could have a Templar versus Assassin or Hidden One versus Order of Ancient story, and it would be fine, but it wouldn't be amazing. There would be no reason to visit this time period other than to play it out. Don't get me wrong, the main gameplay and story of Assassin's Creed games should always be the ancient story, but it needs to be encased in a modern capsule to hold it all together. What would Assassin's Creed be without this capsule? Just another historical game based on history with a cool assassin story attached to it. But it wouldn't hold implications for the future or have the weight it does when you feel the consequences for a modern society. Playing the ancient story shows you what's happened, but the modern day hasn't happened yet, and it's up to us to change the future for the better. The modern day connects us to the Ezio as well. There really isn't any reason for the ancient story protagonist to seek out information about the ones who came before, because it usually doesn't directly affect them in their time period. The Ezio have a message for the modern day protagonist of this series. In some cases, it's about saving the world, or trying to stop Juno from wreaking havoc and creating a cult trying to revive the Ezio. The Ezio use our ancient protagonist to share information with the modern day. There would be a way to weave in an Ezio timeline into the purely ancient game, but as I said before, there just wouldn't be any weight behind it. There are some really awesome scenes in the modern day using the artifacts of the Ezio, like when Desmond infiltrates Abstergo to kill Vidic, or when the staff revives Basim. These do a great job at showing how the Ezio technology works and how it has been used throughout history to control humans. This shows us the impact it could have on our society now, something we wish to avoid, but without a modern day, you wouldn't see these technologies being found and used. There have been quite a few cliffhangers in Assassin's Creed, and most of them have all been in the modern day. The end of Assassin's Creed 2 when you finally discover the ones who came before for the first time, and Minerva talks directly to Desmond. It still gives me chills every time. That's it, no more information is given to the player about these Isu. We are zapped from the Animus into a modern day segment taking on the modern day Abstergo agents as they found your location. How is this not great writing? Leaves us on a cliffhanger and searching for answers, ready for the next game in the series. In Brotherhood, Desmond touches the apple. Time stops for our companions, but not for Desmond, as he receives a message from Juno. Desmond slowly moves towards Lucy and stabs her with his hidden blade.
No!
It is done. The way lies all before you. Only she remains to be found. Awaken the sixth. Go.
Once again, we are left asking questions. Why did this happen? Did Juno make Desmond do it? Or the apple? Or was it some other reason for killing off a main character and companion of Desmond? The ending of Revelations is my favourite part in all of Assassin's Creed. Ezio finally finds Altair's library and talks directly to Desmond.
On the 72nd day before the moment of awakening, you, birthed from our loins and the loins of our enemies, the end and the beginning, who we abhor and honor, the final journey commences. There is one who would accompany you through the gate. She lies not within our sight. The cross darkens the horizon.
I have lived my life as best I could, not knowing its purpose, but drawn forward like a moth to a distant moon. And here at last, I discover a strange truth. That I am only a conduit for a message that eludes my understanding. Who are we, who have been so blessed to share our stories like this? To speak across centuries? Maybe you will answer all the questions I have asked. Maybe you will be the one to make all this suffering worth something in the end. Now, listen.
An amazing end to the best ancient protagonist story and ties a lot of things together from the previous 3 games. We get a cutscene of the first disaster. It lays everything out on the table for us. Now there is no more searching for answers. We have our goal, save the planet from a second solar flare. It's one of the best written games and one of my favourite endings in all of gaming. Let's not get started on the crazy ending to Valhalla either, which all takes place in the modern day. The bleeding effect is also something very cool in this series. While playing through someone's memories, you can have their skills bleed through into the modern day, into you, while your memories get confused with theirs. It's something the modern day crew have to be very careful of. So in these modern day segments, we get to see shadows of the past or use skills inherited from our ancestors. Now the gameplay of these sections can be very lackluster. There are very few highlights, but I will admit this is something that could be dramatically improved upon. For some reason, it's just a worse version of the gameplay from the ancient story. I think this is where a lot of AC players have a problem with the modern day. They are sucked out of their game to play an inferior game with less mechanics and simplified gameplay. If Ubisoft could innovate on this and make it a special part of the game where you get to do really awesome things that you can't do in the main part of the game, I think this would change the mind of many of the modern day haters. Something like when Desmond uses the apple in Abstergo makes a lot of sense, but it could be even better than that. Now the modern day has been through highs and lows, with the first 5 games showing exactly how it should be done, and then we have a large decline into exactly what shouldn't be done over the next 4 to 5 games. Odyssey was the first game in a long time that tried to do a better job of its modern day story. Unfortunately, it hid a lot of it behind paid DLC. It also started doing the mythical thing in AC, which I'm not a fan of, but that's a topic for another video. Valhalla, while definitely not perfect, is a step in the right direction for the modern day story of Assassin's Creed, so hopefully we are on the way back up again. For some reason, the biggest modern day villain that was set up in Assassin's Creed 3 was forgotten about and then killed off in a comic book. Yes, you heard that right. Juno was a perfect motivator for the modern day to use for the next 3 games or so. Instead, we got bland puzzles with an unnamed protagonist working for Abstergo. Now, I understand that many people hate the modern day segments of Assassin's Creed. I used to be one of them. I was a teenager when the first Assassin's Creed came out, and I really didn't care for the modern day at all. I was a gameplay first kind of guy, and I just didn't care much for any of it. So improving the gameplay of these sections probably would have changed my mind, even then. Now when I play these games, I feel the weight of the story, I feel the depth of the challenges the modern day crew are trying to overcome, and I just love it. Something I once didn't understand is now a highlight of these games for me. You can make an AC game without modern day. I think it would sell well, and the majority of people would like it. But just because more people would like it doesn't always make it better. Pop music, for instance, is the music that makes the most money, but it doesn't make me feel anything. I have no connection to these songs or artists. And it's much like that for these games that have mass appeal to so many gamers. The majority of gamers probably don't want to get too deep into the lore of their games. They're just there to have fun and escape their everyday life. Online games are perfect for this. There is almost no story and it's all gameplay or interaction with other players. But this isn't what AC was or should be. Assassin's Creed is a special, one-off kind of series that will always have a place in my heart for good or worse. It's a game with rich lore waiting to be explored, a story that makes you feel things, makes you connect with these characters and stories, and saving the world that we currently live in. Assassin's Creed needs to get back on track with its modern day, and it seems to be moving in that direction. However, I did just hear that in the future, modern day and ancient stories are going to be completely separate from each other. So I can tell you for free, already, that if that goes through, it's not going to be good. As I said, it's the connections through time that make it so intriguing. If I had it my way, we would have sequels to games to flesh out stories better. Ezio is the poster child for this series for a reason. We had 3 solid games with beautifully told stories that incorporated his story perfectly with the modern day. We need sequels in the future to see some of these other great characters such as Aya and Bayek. The modern day could stretch over these 3 games, or maybe more, and tell a tale that ends somewhere just as Desmond's story did. He saved the world. Obviously, there were more things to be solved, but that just felt like a complete story. Nowadays, it feels as if the story will just never have an ending, and that's something I don't like. In conclusion, I believe the modern day is an integral part of the series, and has, up until now, shown the series at its best. The highs of this series cannot be reached without this part of the puzzle, and I will be very sad and disappointed if these elements are removed from the games or put into a separate part of Infinity, where it doesn't relate directly to the ancient story. Modern day is the foundation upon which all other story elements are built, and I just believe without this strong foundation, the building that is Assassin's Creed is nothing but a straw hut of its former self. So that's it for this video. Thank you so much for watching, and I do truly wish to know your opinions down below. Check out these other videos on screen, hit that like button to support the channel, and subscribe if you're new here for more news, reviews, and other gaming content. Sticks out.